You do not want beds placed in the middle of rooms in HMOs. Now, for the purpose of marketing, that's absolutely fine. You can place it at the center of the room because it looks more natural, because it looks more symmetrical for marketing purposes. But from a tenant's perspective, for when tenants move into the rooms, ideally you want to place them in the corner of rooms. And the reason for this is because we want to maximize as much usable space as possible. So for in this situation, rather than place it in the middle, either there or there, and having a bedside cabinet either side, we'd place it in the corner and either have a bedside cabinet on the side, or better still, just have a chest of drawer next to it with a mirror on top. It serves the same function and you don't need a bedside cabinet. Instead of a bedside cabinet, what I'd recommend is actually having a combi, so chest of drawers underneath in your wardrobe. Anyway, back to the point. The reason you have a bed in the corner of the room is, again, because tenants in house shares have a lot of personal belongings and they spend a lot of times in their room. So therefore you want as much and as large a usable space as possible. If that bed, for example, is in the center of the room, you'd have like a bit of narrow space on either side of the bed, but that's not really functional because you can't do much with two narrow strips of space, whereas you can with a larger whole strip of space. Make sure as well that you've got cutouts on your bed frames, again, for additional storage underneath here. And I get it, as landlords or as investors, we think that it's, traditionally you have beds at the center of rooms, but you have to see it from the end user's perspective. So in this situation, it will be the tenant client. You'd have to see it from their perspective and how they would use the room. And generally speaking, from my experience, about 20 years worth of experience of being a landlord, tenants in HMOs prefer the beds on the side of the room. It's often the case, actually, if you put it to the side where the radiator is, they're actually effective. That makes better use of the radiator from the tenant's perspective because they're naturally a bit warmer as well. Ideally, you'd actually want it near the window, just for natural space as well. And ideally, on the opposite side of the door, but that's not always the case. Anyway, the other thing is as well, rooms often come in very interesting or very unusual or unconventional shapes and sizes, like this one. And it's not always a square or rectangle. So sometimes actually you don't have the choice, but it's often the case where the bed placed in the corner of the room is much better use of the space for the tenant, and they much prefer it. Anyway, my name is Nguyen. We let and manage high quality HMOs and singles in and around Birmingham. This is one of the HMO rooms that we've got coming up. We've just finished renovation. Everything's in, and we're just doing the viewings now. All right, hopefully that's been helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.